What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Tuesday, April 18th. Hope everybody is having a good day. See who's here. Hold on. I got to pull it up on my phone also because that's how I read the chat. It's just better for me. 1 second. Hope we don't get an echo. What's going on here? I wanted to pull up RonLogan's search warrant because for some reason there's just too many things out there that just aren't factual. So we're going to go over the facts. And no, this is not me talking about RonLogan being the killer or bridge guy. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with just real facts. Real facts. Sorry, I wasn't around last week. My kids ended up with strep throat again. Just this hat's a little crooked. Oh, 1 second. 1 quick second. Be right back. 1 second. So sorry. Had to pick that up from my school, my kid's school, really quick, and now we're good to go. So yeah, I wanted to go over RonLogan's search warrant again because just things out there that just aren't factual. People talking about there wasn't blood at the scene and whatnot, but there was, and the search warrant describes it pretty well in detail. How's everybody been? Everybody's been good. I know I got to get on a better schedule. I feel bad about it, but my kids come first, and when they're home, it is impossible to go live when I'm one-on-one with the kids. Say hi to everybody first, and then we'll go into this. Miss D is in the house. Another D. Mrs. Thang, how are you? Sparky Doo, New York Rory, what's up? I'm back, man. I wish I will get more consistent. I promise. My kids just need to stay healthy. Strep throat sucks. They were miserable. Miss Dog Lover, Purdue, what's up? Hey, Stevie. Frank Meister's in the house. What's up, Frank? Hope you're doing well, man. What's up, Shane? Polygraph. I got to check Frank's live this weekend. I'm not sure what was going on. Derek Farmer, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Doing work. Get that work done, guy. I get it. So I did last year. I did a Red Talk, and I know a lot of you have listened to it. I dissected the entire RonLogan search warrant, went through it over line by line because it was at the time it was the most detailed information that was out there. Nothing else was as detailed of what happened that day until Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit in his arrest. Hey, Patricia. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Lynn. I know it's a little light on people, but that's because I had to keep changing the date, and that's my fault. It's tough, man, juggling the kids, especially when they're sick. And it started with my little guy complaining in the morning. My middle son, he's 7. He's complaining in the morning. He's like, oh, I don't feel too good. And he did that to me the week before and stayed home for a day, and he was fine. So I thought there was nothing wrong. He went to school. Nurse called me right after lunch. He had a fever, and strep was back. And boom, back on meds, throwing up in between. Fun week for me. But that's just the way it goes, just the way it goes. Derek, I get it, man. You got to get your work done. I'm glad you're doing well. It's been a while. I know I was talking to you in Sleuths live a couple weeks ago. I know you were there. Polygraph. Red Talk is on Reddit. I'm a one of the mods for Delphi Docs, and I just go live on there. I haven't been in a while, but it's on the Delphi Docs subreddit, but it's also in my videos, not under live. If you go to regular videos and scroll down, you'll see it say, I'll tell you the title right now. It's actually, let's see, from the top of videos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's the 13th video down. It says Delphi murders, RonLogan search warrant affidavit. And let me get my headphones on. I knew I was missing something. Okay. That should be better. You should be able to hear me much better now with these on. These work pretty great. Pod Maxes. Yeah, so it says Delphi, it's episode 3. It says the Delphi murders, RonLogan search warrant affidavit, episode number 3, Red Talk live. And Red Talks are actually cool. I got to start doing them again. You know, I think maybe 30 or 35 people are allowed in at one time. And it's like you got a little avatar and you could raise your hand and I could click on your name. You come on, you ask questions. It's very interactive. They're very cool. But I went over the affidavit line by line. I guess I got to go over it again today. That wasn't the plan. But I was in Meows live last night and just in the chat seeing people, you know, just a lot of, you know, it's like anything else. Just people are misinformed. And I don't know who else, you know, I'm not saying it was Meow because it's not. I don't know who they're watching, where they get their info from. But, you know, some are, you know, are on the, you know, Pat Brown's the guy. It's just, I don't know. Listen, Richard Allen is under arrest for, you know, murder of the girls. I also think that there weren't 2 big bad wolves in the woods that day. I still think the other guy who's pleading out his other charges, nothing to do with this case. But I still feel that Mr. Keegan has something to do with it also. Oh, happy belated. My birthday was 10, well, I think it's 10 days before yours. Happy birthday. Yeah. Sucks that we're getting old. I feel young at heart, though. That's all that matters. Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, they're better. They're back to school, you know, thankfully. But fun week for me, you know. It's tough when they're sick. They're miserable, you know. They're miserable, especially with strep. They don't really want to eat. It's just, you know, just not fun. Not a fun week. Not a fun week. So let's go through a little bit of this. So the FBI agent that wrote it is Nicole Robertson. And that's why I said it all the time. I have an issue with the Coffin Daffer, who's a retired FBI agent. Right before Richard Allen's arrest, she was tweeting about RonLogan and he's the suspect and blah, blah, blah. It's just, she shouldn't be doing that because, and this is before Richard Allen was arrested, but, you know, she still feels that way. And the FBI feels that RonLogan was the guy. But they did everything. They went to his house. They searched his outhouses. They searched his sheds. They had canines there. Nothing was found. If they found one drop of blood anywhere, RonLogan would have been charged. It never happened. It just didn't happen because it wasn't, they didn't find anything. But Nicole Robertson, who wrote it, they also took Ron's car, his truck, his white Ford F-250, the VIN numbers here. Nicole Robertson, Nicole Robertson, am a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and have been employed as such for 12 years. Prior to her employment as an FBI agent, Nicole Robertson was employed as a Sauk Village, Illinois police officer for 6 years. Nicole Robertson is assigned to the Merrillville Resident Agency and currently participates in the investigation of all violent crimes. Hey, Olivia. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Here's a background. On February 13th, 2017, approximately 1 p.m., juvenile victims, hereafter referred to as LG and AW, were taken to the Monon High Bridge Trail located in Delphi, Indiana. LG and AW were walking the trail in the area of County Road 300 North, which was the time of last contact with LG and AW by cellular device. The The victims were to be picked up by a family member at 3 p.m., and the victims never met with the family member. Approximately 5:30 p.m. was the last successful ping of the cellular phone by AT&T. The victims, LG and AW, were located deceased on February 14th, 2017 at approximately 12:17 p.m. at the above listed latitude and longitude, having been the victims of murder in accordance with Indiana Code 35-42-1-1. A suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket with a heavy physical build, wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of this suspect was made by a 43-second video taken on LG's phone, where the suspect follows the victims as they were walking on the Monon High Bridge trail. Near the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victims, saying, "Down the hill." It sounds as though he is directing the victims to leave the trail they were on and enter the wooded area below. No person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in LG's video. Therefore, it is believed that the persons in LG's video participated in the killings. Images of the suspect have been broadcast on the news media since February 15th, 2017 as a person of interest. LG and AW are presumed to have made contact with the unknown male at approximately 2:13 p.m. based upon analysis of LG's cell phone, which recorded the video. So everything's there. 2:13 p.m. The video was taken down the hill. The bridge guy's clothing, who we now know who was dressed like that. Richard Allen was dressed like that, right? On February 14th at approximately 12:17 p.m., victims LG and AW were found dead with wounds caused by a sharp weapon on the property owned by RonLogan. Here you go. These are the people that say there was no blood at the scene. Here it is. A large amount of blood was lost by the victims at the crime scene. Because of the nature of the victim's wounds, it is nearly certain the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his person, clothing. The location of the crime scene at approximately 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. You know, and remember, you got all these people saying that, they were in the water. Stop it. We know they were 50 feet from the water's edge. There's no reason to lie about where the girls were found. It's just not logical. You can't have local, state, federal officers all in on this lie of where the girls were found. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I don't know why is that, Shane? I mean, it's a horrifying, document of what happened, but I don't know why you're fearing, but it's terrible. It is terrible. All right, let me get back here. Logan is 77-year-old male. Now, let's remember something, right? The reason I also bring this up is that Richard Allen's defense team is going to use this document in court. This is going to be part of his defense, because you have FBI basically saying it's RonLogan, and you're going to hear that right now. Logan is a 77-year-old man. Logan's physical build is consistent with that of the male suspect videoed by LG on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Logan owns farmland and cares for large farm animals. Logan appears to be in good physical condition. Logan has been interviewed several times. His voice is not inconsistent with that of the person in the video. So they're doing everything possible to not rule him out as the audio being him. So, I mean, think about it, people. Think about it. They wanted it to be him. And, listen, I'm not saying Ron was a stand-up guy, and I'm not here to defend him. I just don't feel he was a murderer. At the same time, once his alibi crumbled, he was suspect number one. That's just the way the FBI came at him. It was also discovered that the panties and sock of one of the victims was missing from the crime scene, while the rest of their clothing was recovered. It also appears the girls' bodies were moved and staged. So people hear that and they're thinking that they were moved miles. Now, remember, the crime scene was where the girls were found. The blood was right there. The girls were only moved feet in order to complete the staging. Stuff that, I've said it over and over again. Based upon my training and experience, it is common for perpetrators of this type of crime to take a souvenir or in some fashion memorialize the crime scene, whether by photos or electronic or digital methods that are then downloaded onto computers storage devices, tablets, phones, iPad devices, or other electronic devices that store digital data for later viewing, scanning, or copying. Now, I told you how, and I've said it over and over again, how they're talking about digital, blah, blah, blah. I feel that was their imprints of a tripod in the dirt. There was something there that gave them a little more to feel that there was digital storage. That's just my take on it. If it truly was RonLogan, they would have nailed him. Of course they would have. Of course they would have. Bud Bundy's in the house. What's up, Bud? They got the guy, whether he's convicted or not, is still up in the air, but it's the guy they caught. Yeah, I just don't think he was alone. So the men from that area, a lot sounded sane. I'm not sure what you mean there. Did you lose a bet? I'm a 49er fan. True and true, bud. Joe Montana, man. Love Joe. From 5 years old, love Joe Montana. Reason why I say that, because no one is saying, no, it's true. Girls are killing his property, and an FBI investigative word can destroy a man's life. No, Shane, 100%. 100%. I didn't know what you meant by that, but 100%. And listen, yeah, his alibi crumbled. You're going to hear in here. I don't know if I'm going to go through everything because there's a lot of data and there's just a lot of stuff in here. But I don't know how accurate it is of the timeline of Ron asking the person for an alibi. I don't know if it's perfect, if you know what I mean. Could have been a day mixed up there. But remember, this they wanted this heavy that a lot of this was going to be a plug and play for an arrest warrant if they found the droplet of blood. They found nothing. LG and AW had no visible signs of a struggle or fight. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or hairs. Logan owns numerous weapons. Oh, remember, they took his handguns. I think it was a few weeks before this because of his arrest, when he was arrested beforehand. So then they went back and they took his knives out, I believe. Logan owns numerous weapons, including handguns and knives that were observed by LEOs during the execution of a search warrant that took place at his home. It was 11 days before, March 6th, 2017. This was March 17th, 2017. Logan's home was searched as a result of a probation violation. The search was limited to the discovery of firearms that included only his main residence. So then they went back on the 17th, searched the shed, the outhouse. They searched everything. Everything, there was no stone left unturned at RonLogan's property. But people are still putting this out there, and I don't know if it's for views or what it's for, but it's just nonsense. It's just they're doing more harm by confusing people. On February 14th at approximately 9:20 a.m., Logan contacted his cousin. In my old video, I think I say his name, but we're just going to call him Dave. His cousin Dave. Logan asked Dave to tell the police that Dave came to Logan's home between 2 and 2:30 on February 13th, 2017, to pick Logan up. Logan further told Dave to say that Dave drove Logan to an aquarium store in Lafayette, Indiana. Logan told Dave to say they returned home to Logan's house between 5 and 5:30 p.m. On February 14, 2017, while requesting consent to search Logan's property, a law enforcement officer advised Logan that LEOs would not search his home unless evidence led them to his house. In that meeting, Logan told the LEO that he did not think evidence would lead them there, but said, "I don't know." Well, I mean, you're talking about this 77-year-old man, and he's, it's just they wanted to compound everything on to make a shit sandwich against him. And they did a hell of a job. Angelic darkness, it possibly could be. There possibly could be. What's up, Andrew? Hey, Teresa. A receipt from Aquarium World in Lafayette dated February 13, 2017, with a checkout time of 5:21 p.m. was found in Logan's home on March 6, 2017, during his probation violation search. Logan resides approximately 22 miles from the store. It would take approximately 30 minutes to get to the store from Logan's home. On March 6th, 2017, during an interview with LEO, Logan said he was picked up by Dave around 3 p.m. and taken straight to the aquarium store in Lafayette. In March 6, 2017 interview, Logan said after he was done at the aquarium store, he was driven straight home. Their statements were found to be factually false and intentionally designed to deceive LEOs. On March 7th, 2017, Dave was interviewed by LEO. Dave told the LEO that he was with Logan on Monday, and Dave basically corroborates the story on that day. But then 5 days later, right, on March 12th, 2017, Dave explained in an interview to a LEO that Logan called him the morning of February 14th, 2017, and asked him to provide the alibi. So that's where his alibi crumbles on March 12th. It just crumbled. This guy basically said this is what happened. But was it on the 14th that he called? Is that a fact? We know that for a fact, or we don't? And the key, what they were making it known that this phone call to Dave was made prior to the girls being found. They wanted that in there. They wanted that to be very evident that it was prior to the girls being found, that they were just missing at the time of the alibi being asked for. Based on investigators' experience, it is reasonable to believe that the creation of an alibi prior to the discovery of a crime indicates culpability or knowledge of the crime. Right. Yeah, possibly in some cases. I also think that Ron felt the target was coming. This is a small town. This is a small place. People talk. I'm sure he heard the rumblings that they were coming at him. But I wish it was tomorrow. I wish it was tomorrow. Hey, Mark. Oh, nice. Good. Break time. Like a nice break. Can you confirm that there was indeed a large amount? Yes, I see it through. I read that part. If you scroll back maybe 4 minutes, you'll hear it. But no, I confirmed it. That's see-throughs. That's why I'm doing this. I actually wasn't planning on going over this today, but I felt it was necessary. Felt Ron Logan search warrant is full of facts, and it just is what it is. It's cut and dry. It's here. This is what it is. And then it goes into then they interview some ex-girlfriends of Ron's, and believe me, I'm not saying the guy's a model citizen. I'm not saying he doesn't drink and had physical altercations with the females in his life. At 77 years old, I don't see him being able to commit this crime. I just don't. And there's nothing to show that he did do it. There's nothing there. Then they wanted to paint the picture, and this is why it confirmed it for me a year before Richard Allen. We always heard there was a rumbling of a gun. That's always been out there. They wanted to make sure that the girlfriend stated that Ron, what did she say? Logan carried a gun everywhere he went. She knew that Logan would carry a gun in a fanny pack. She described Logan's fanny pack as one made out of nicer material, so that could be leather. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't think that's relevant, but him carrying his firearm, they wanted to set up that, this man did carry his gun everywhere. So, the man on the bridge who pulled the gun on the girls could have been Ron Logan. And let me tell you, this is going to be brought up. Nicole, FBI agent Nicole Robertson, she's going to be called, by the defense team. They're going to grill her as to why they're going to grill her hard as to why she felt it was Ron Logan and the Richard Allen thing wasn't there. Because there was no need to put it there. They didn't need that for what they were going for here. That would have came on it at the arrest. I mean, a lot of this search warrant was going to be copy and pasted to an arrest warrant if they had it, but nothing was found. Nothing was found there. They had dogs. The dogs searched all of Ron's property. They searched the car, the house. They found nothing, zero. And then the wacky part, and I'm telling you, listen to the Red Talk. I think it's almost 2 hours long. I go over everything. How they basically said that Ron Logan was at the bridge, but in the same minute he was also right near his house. That was by a cell phone ping. How the hell could this man be at the bridge and at his location, at his house in the same minute? It's just bananas to me. It's bananas. This is some wacky stuff. But this is what they want. They got their point across. Believe me, their point him being suspect number one was that was evident that what they wanted. Digital, what's up? Hope all is well. What do I want to get to here? I'm not going to get into cell phone stuff. That's all in my video from last year. You could hear it if you want to or not. It's totally up to you. Lind, basically, the alibi crumbling for Ron really set off a motion that came at him, and it turned the focus away from probably all the other suspects and brought Ron up to the front. But the whole thing is, once there's nothing there, then you can't have blinders, you can't have tunnel vision. You have to break off from that and go in and go back to your investigation. Once you go to the house, you search the vehicle. You have CSI go through. You have everything tested, and there's no DNA from the girls. There's no blood droplets from the girls. You got to move on. That didn't happen. So was there a 27-month hiccup? With RonLogan being suspect number one and time lost, possibly. We're never going to know the facts from them, but it could be. Well, listen, I took a lot of shit from my Red Talk last year on Ron, because people, there's people out. You have the guy that wrote the book that, he still comes on. I'm a moderator for Delphi Docs on Reddit, and he still comes at me in comments. He's, people just, it hurts his book by it not being RonLogan. I want to get to, hold on. Another girlfriend. Logan had been violent with her in the past. Listen, I'm not saying, and people can say, oh, he beat his girlfriend. I'm not saying the man was a, model citizen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he doesn't fit the narrative. This doesn't fit as him being the killer of the two girls. It just doesn't fit. Hey, Mustang. Hey, Lake Michigan. Hold on, I'm just trying to get to a search of the database, because remember, the FBI is the one that took all the tips. They had the Orion system. They were able to categorize tips. Blah blah blah. A search of the database has revealed that 15 tips in which citizens, both known and anonymous, attributed the crime to Logan for various reasons. Now, you all don't think that this isn't gonna help Richard Allen's defense. They're gonna use it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they're going to use this document. It's out there. It's going to be used as a defense mechanism. They're going to bring it up at trial without a doubt. Based on the above aforementioned facts, Logan was in the area at the time the crime occurred, and that he provided false information about his activities during the crime to law enforcement. Wait, what happened? Has a prior propensity for violence, employed others to assist in deceiving law enforcement, and plotted an alibi for a crime that had not yet been discovered. Well, I refute that there possibly could be a hiccup in the timing of the alibi being asked for. That's just something I'm going to say. And, could be my opinion, could be not. I'm just going to put it that way. Information to be searched and things to be seized. Based on the aforementioned facts, I believe there's probable cause to believe that RonLogan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that could be found on RonLogan's property. The affiant requested warrant to search RonLogan's entire property located at 5858 West 300 North, Delphi, Indiana, 46923, described as a white two-story single-family dwelling. This is common search warrant stuff, including his detached garage, outbuilding a vehicle, white Ford F-250 with his bearing VIN number, for evidence related to the murders of LG and AW for the following property. Any and all evidence pertaining to murder, including clothing, forensic evidence, blood, seen and unseen, hair, bodily fluids, seen and unseen, fibers, weapons, including guns and cutting instruments, electronic devices used to produce the cellular signals detected by law enforcement in the area of the crime, and animal hair samples. Animal hair samples. Interesting, right? That they stuck that in there on point 3. Computers, computer equipment, digital storage devices, tapes, cassettes, cartridges, streaming tape, commercial software and hardware, computer disks, flash drives, disk drives, monitors, computer printers, modems, tape drives, disk application software, Disk application programs, data disks, anything digital, anything you could digitally put. Because digital cameras, hard drives, stuff will make you dizzy. It's anything that can store data. Graphic interchange formats and/or photographs, undeveloped photographic films, slides, or other visual depictions of such graphic interchange format equipment, and the data stored within these materials, which has been used or may be used to store evidence of the crime, research ways to conceal a crime, or destroy a crime scene. Records, documents, writing, and correspondence containing information about the crime scene, or any individual involved in the crime. Well, there's nothing in here of him asking for an alibi for the transfer station. And they document his alibi was interviewed, and it's in here. There's nothing about the transfer station being used for an alibi. I don't know if you have different info on that. I'm not sure, but it's not in here. So it might be different what you have. Any and all tablets, phones, iPad devices, and any and all other electronic devices which may contain digital data. Any and all computer data, including but not limited to photographs, videos, documents, emails, sound files, which may contain evidence of the violation of the criminal statutes listed at the beginning of this affidavit. So that's a lot of info to take in. But just remember, a lot of blood was at the crime scene. A sharp instrument was used. RonLogan in the same minute pinged on the bridge and at his house, which is a physical impossibility. And this will be used. You could send it to my email, analysisofacrime@gmail.com. Definitely send it over. Oh yeah, and my opinion, and nobody's confirmed this, but was there footings for a tripod or whatnot, something there, and we've known this. It's been said that there are pictures or video of the crime or after the crime that they possibly exists. Yeah, I know, right? See, 15 out of 70,000, and remember, anonymous, and also people who called in. So it could be the same person used the tip line, but also called into the to the station. So it is what it is on that. Archlux, send it over. I'll take a look right now. 1 second, waiting for an email. Hey Jill, hope you're doing well. Good seeing you. Let's see. Did it come through? Waiting. Maybe put it in here so you have it. Maybe. There it is. Let me go onto YouTube to see. The comments are much quicker on YouTube. That's why I use it. Hey, what's doing? All is good. All is good. Last week, kids had strep throat again. Fun week for me. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'm waiting for it to come through. What's this doing? There we go. Okay. I don't want to share this because I don't know if it's out there or not, but it does say the full name of that person, and it's not my place to out them. But I see what you're saying. who advised that Dave had come to his residence and drove him to the Carroll County trash transfer station. He advised that they worked around the house and went to Aquarium World in Lafayette in the afternoon to purchase some fish. It was the first time I'm hearing that he was. I don't think he was at the transfer station. I think it was just Ron by himself from the video. But yeah, I mean that's odd. That's odd. I still don't think Ron did it. Still don't think he did it. The FBI does though. The FBI does, and Coffin Daffer still thinks that too, which is kind of crazy. So we could also talk about Richard Allen and being moved and the state of him, which is, listen, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and the looks of him not looking too healthy. Even his arm, the way he had him shackled and stuff, I don't know why they didn't have his arms just both down within the waist shackle. Kind of strange, but I mean, maybe he has a wrist problem and he can't put his arm down that way. That could be possibly why he had one arm down and the other one, like, it just didn't look right. I would never shackle somebody that way, but there could be a reason behind it. So I can't just go and say that they had him shackled wrong. If he's got some kind of hand injury, then that would make sense for why his arm was like that. It actually helped his picture. It made him look even worse, And you saw the other man that he died in the prison where he was being eaten by bugs. Listen, doesn't matter. Nobody should be treated inhumane like that. Where they're in a cell that is disgusting, that could have rats in it, animals eating at your skin. I mean, listen, this is America, and nobody should be treated inhumanely like that. Nobody. Oh, Len, 100%. I mean, there was and I think it was New York Post had a picture of the man deceased and his whole chest, the bumps of bites all over him was horrifying. Nobody should have to go through that. And I don't know who it was. And I think it might've been a nurse. I'm not sure who went in there, but they refused to even, give him CPR because of the state of the room. That, he must've been, living in his crap. Just that is not America. That is not our prison system. Corrections has to do a better job. State, federal, whatever, county jails. You can't treat somebody like that. You just can't. This is America. This is America. Sharon, what is it doing? No, he had, that's the shackles, but he had, if you saw him, he just, the way his hand was, it just, you're shackled down. We shackle you down so you're not going to be able to grab onto my arm. But it could be he has an injury on his wrist or something. It didn't look right in the picture. It looked very odd. Very odd. Hey, Mick, I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Hopefully I'll be back on schedule. Let's just hope, it's just, I think it's, from the thing that went around for a couple of years, 3 years, whatever it was, that just messed with our kids and the things they pick up in school. Cause it's been one thing after another since Christmas with my kids picking up germs. It's terrible. It's terrible. Oh, it looked disgusting, disgusting. You could see that it looked like there was shit on the walls. That's what it looked like. It looked like there was shit on the walls. Nobody should be living like that. I don't care, and believe me, you don't see me sticking up for criminals often, but nobody should be treated inhumanely like that. That's somebody's family member. It's terrible. Another person died because they left him naked in a cell with no food and they died of starvation. Yeah, that's just not good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. And whoever's running those prisons, they should be held accountable. They should be held, when it's the corrections officers that are doing wrong, shit's got to roll uphill now. Now you got to go up and get to the big dog who's watching over that prison, because it shouldn't be happening. It should not be happening. David, I hear you. And we have states that put people to death for their crimes. But at the same time, nobody should be eaten alive by bugs. I mean, come on, it's gross. Our justice system is supposed to be humane. This is America. I get what you're saying, especially when children are involved. I get it. D, no problem. Hope all is well on your end. D, you missed, you could, watch it later. I went over, I know you saw my red talk, but I went over, RonLogan search warrant again. Because there's just, I'm getting emails and just hearing what's out there again on Ron's, on RonLogan and on the crime scene and on, there was no blood where the girls were found, just wrong info. So I had to straighten out the info. Went to the factual document and put it out there. What is up? What else does anybody want to talk about? Anybody want to call in and chat a little bit? Let me know. I could send you the link in an email. I got some time. Just let's see. He is being moved. I'm not sure if they moved him yet. I'm gonna look right now. Let me see if they did move him. Doesn't specify where he's going to be moved yet. They haven't said yet. So I guess we're not going to know until he is moved. We'll find out after. Nicola Bully. Let me tell you, Susan, that's a, I don't know if you found me from John's channel, Crime Scene, the Courtroom. We've talked about it at length. It is a strange case. I don't feel it's cut and dry. And I don't know if you heard me on his channel last week, but there's some weird things there. And now, they went back and looked in the river. What were they looking for? Were they looking for, did something in the autopsy show? So they went back in to look for that. Were they looking at how she went over that spot? There's a lot of questions there. A lot of questions. Seeing what it says here. Misinformed speculation. So anytime you speculate on the Nicola Bully case, it's misinformation, which is crazy to me. And I talked to John, like, is that a UK thing? And he said it's not. They don't. In the UK, they don't share as much info as like you'll get it at US, not related to kids. Delphi, there wasn't much given, but a lot of cases, a lot is given up front. At press conferences. You've seen that with the mass things that have been happening. Like the one at the bank last week, within 24 hours, even the one at the school, within 24 hours, you had the body cam footage released. So he told me that the UK doesn't release a lot like that, but at the same time, it's anybody questioning this case is being attacked or silenced in a way, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't believe anybody was in the water. There's no way. There's no way you're going to have state, local, and feds lying about where the girls were found. It's crazy, but it's out there. It's just people are. That's why I had to bring up Ron's search warrant to bring some facts back into it. Well, Lorray, I had a case. I had to be back in, I guess, 2006, where a young mom murdered a child, and we got her before she left. They were trying to, they're trying to get her out of the country and get her back to Haiti without being arrested. But we got her. She tried to blame it on the boyfriend, who was a young kid too, and he was living at a golf club at like a caddy house in a sense, and groundskeeper house. And she went there, brought the kid, put the kid down in like a little room area, and they went to, hook up in a sense, and the kid kept waking up. So she took her little, baby was like, I guess, under 18 months, and whacked it twice into the concrete wall and killed her kid. Disgusting. And she did a very brief time in prison and was shipped back to Haiti. So yeah, I get what you're saying. That, I had to be on that case, and it was a tough one to see. It did feel good getting her though. We went to the house. We had a warrant for arrest. They tried to hide her, and we found her. She was in the house being hidden by the family. You know, we got her though. What's up, Ruckus? Hope all is well. No, it's all good. I'm asking you. Ask away. Yeah, me and Ruckus are going to work on that. I just, the kids being sick again. I was, locked down again for another week. It's tough. Hoping that with the weather breaking here in New York, that things will get easier with the kids being sick. But yeah, Nicola Bully. I'm gonna actually have John do a live with me. Maybe we'll do one later this week on it. But we go over the whole case because a lot of people might not have heard about it. It's from the UK. She supposedly went and dropped her 2 kids off at school. She drove the kids there, ends up taking her dog to a spot that she always walks the dog every morning. And suddenly the dog is there. She is not. Her phone was found by the water, but then it was found on the bench. And she's found, I want to say 20 something days later, she's found down the river a bit where she shouldn't have been able to cross over if she fell in and hit her head in the spot. I don't know. It's a case worth looking into. It really is. It's a very weird one. Very weird case. Oh, I mean, we know that there was clothing in the water. We know that, but the girls were not in the water. They were 50 feet from the water. I don't know. I don't even know what channel out there is doing this, but I got contacted about it. Then I saw it in Meow's chat last night, and I know it's not her saying it, but somebody's putting it out there. And I don't know. I'm not sure why it's out there like this, but we got to, reel everybody back in a little bit. Let's go back to reality. Let's go back to the facts. Facts don't lie, Facts do not lie. And Ron's search warrant, they were gung-ho that he was the killer, so it is targeted at him, but his factual info, some of that is over the edge, but shit happens. Yeah, I don't believe it's her husband. I think they go by partner. I don't believe they're married, but they share 2 kids. But from his first interview, something was just a little odd. Something's a little off. And listen, it could be grief. It could be grief. But I just picked up on just a few things with him that to me, you gotta dig. Was there new insurance policies? Because somebody told me that Nicola did speak within a month before this happened about some kind of insurance. So was there a new policy where policy changed? Was the beneficiary changed from maybe her parent to her spouse or partner? There's things there that I would love to know the answer to, but we're not going to get it. They're not going to give us anything. Yeah, it's very odd. Very odd. And remember that you had a professional diver in the water within 24, 36 hours. He was in there. He found nothing, nothing. It's a very weird case. It is. Yeah, I think she's seeing pareidolia because I thought that's what she was saying last night. I didn't stay for the whole her whole live, but I thought that's what she was talking about, that maybe she was seeing it, but I got to go look. If she's saying it, I don't know. There's no bodies in the water. I mean, it's just not. Could be a Fitbit. That does make sense. That makes sense. Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, somebody else sent it to me, emailed it to me. I got it. I still don't feel that makes him guilty, but listen, he knows he was wrong for driving. So was he trying to build an alibi because of that? There's reasons for everything, and I don't know if it was 100% accurate that it was before the girls were found. Did they want to make it appear that way to get the search warrant signed? We just don't know. I'd like to see files on it. We're not going to see them though. Good. There should be, because nobody should die like that. Nobody should die like that. The guy was eaten alive. It's oof. Since Indiana, Ellie is ranked 48 50. I don't see any justice coming here. I waited for 58 years. David, I'm sorry you've been waiting, but tough stuff, man. You know, seeing the way Richard Allen is right now, he's going to be getting a lot of he's going to have a lot of what's it called, psychiatric evaluations. Let's hope he could stand trial now with everything that's been happening to him. Did anyone hear about fire money cheating on their exams? I don't know much about that, David. It's a shame that anybody has to cheat on their exam to get hired, but it does happen. Got a 97.8 for my second NYPD test to get hired. It's in like the 2%, I think it was. 1%, 2%. Thank you for doing the work you do. And I both know there are some law enforcement out there to not do what they're supposed to do. And well, like any job, there's bad apples, you know. It's just worse when you have a bad apple cop. They're out there. No good cop wants to work with a bad cop. That's just facts. But it does happen. It's tough, but it happens. Okay. Can you give me your take on the conservation officer not being named down? It's PC or redacted? Do you think it's Shayna, I don't know why they was it redacted or was he just not named? You know, you gotta remember something. Conservation officers, even in New York, a lot of people take those jobs as a stepping stone. So it's to get hired at another department. It's like they want to get hired, get their academy in so that they could transfer with an academy under their belt. So, you know, a job that doesn't want to pay for, you know, you get an officer right away. People do that. So did he, you know, is that cop not there anymore? Like, that could be possible too. You know, I just don't know the answer. It was for the naked gun that starved. Oh, it was for the naked guy that starved. Gotcha. Anyone ever heard of serial killer type who had help? Meaning, like a true serial killer that had somebody assisting them? Why are you relating that to Delphi? Let me know. Yes, I caught some Tech Death. What's up? Hope all is well, man. Good to see you here. Yeah, why not? Buy me a coffee. Support the channel. That would be great. I'd appreciate it. You have always covered the Delphi case great. I appreciate what you do for the girls, and I'm glad you stick to the case because there are so many creators who put out the wrong content. Right, that's why I'm here. You know, I know I'm not on as much as I'd like to be, but you're only gonna ever get facts out of me. You're not gonna, you know, get. I'm not here to just get views. It's not why I'm here. So, you know, sometimes you're gonna get the same thing that we talked about, but just clarifying things, and sometimes you're gonna get important, you know, new stuff. But you're not gonna get. I'm not here for clickbait, you know, stuff. So, but thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Because I want to say killer type. I don't see a serial killer type, you know, doing the Delphi case. You have, you know, you have some out there on YouTube that you know, are profilers that want to make their own serial killer definition, which is fine, but it's, you know, not true the way they put it out there. But I'll leave it at that. You know, people are going to watch whoever they want to watch. But you know, you got people out. Listen, there's people that take what they know, their position, and when you hear somebody and they're talking down to people that are asking them questions, that should just show you the type of person they are. If that, you know, could relate to anybody that might be on YouTube that's a profiler, that you know, anything that could be a question of what they're saying, they can't handle it and they just go and bash you. You don't watch that person. That's up to you. So it's a bit controversial for me. Yeah, I just don't see it being serial killer related. It never did. You know, it's a two victims, broad daylight in a park. Got to gain control of those two people. It's not the easiest thing, and it's high risk. It's a high risk, like the Idaho murders. That was a high risk murder, and I said it from before Brian Kohlberger was arrested. This is to me, it's not a serial killer. The risk there, the viewpoints, looking down at that house from all the directions, kids walking by at all hours. The risk it was very high. Yeah, Bogey, you know who it is. You know who I'm talking about. Do you believe the leak? I found this on the web. Nobody was talking to you. Watch. Do you believe the leaked death certificates are fake? If those are the ones I saw months ago, I don't believe they're true. And I think that might be that the linguistic person. That's all bullshit, nonsense. No time for that. It's nonsense. Tech death. That's terrible. I hope you see your daughter soon. Family's doing the same thing. Man died after being eaten alive by bags. What? Why do you think names of investigators were redacted? It doesn't. I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense why they're redacted. I don't know. There's no reason. He's arrested. You have your probable cause. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's irrelevant, but I still don't know why. That's tough, Tech Death. I hope things work out. Pat Brown. I appreciate your opinion, but I believe Del Carclay did serial killer topology with his first plea, control type kill. I got to see what you're talking about. If you want to send it to me. I mean, at his press conference when he's talking to the killer, I don't know. Hiding in plain sight. That one. I got a video on that too from Doug Carter. Julia, I feel there's 2 to 5 people involved, depending on what their roles are. If there was somebody there that could have been taking pictures afterwards, if there was. Let's put it this way, Julia. I'll break it down for you. You got Richard Allen under arrest, right? The same day that Richard Allen was on the bridge, looking at fish, you had a certain somebody contacting one of the girls to have him meet them at the bridge. So do you really think there were 2 big bad wolves separate in this whole thing? Let's just put it that way. I think it's just very simple to just break it down that way. Why do people always act so shocked when criminals up and say how nice they are? Wouldn't it be more appropriate to say I never really knew that person? I'd stand up for them. Well, David, I think it's just the shock of it, and you got to meet, like my neighbor was never like that. He was a good person. Your shock response is to be shocked about it, not to say like, well, I never knew that person. You know what I mean? It's just psychology. It's just the way it's just the way we deal with things. It's just the way the mind's programmed. Yeah, they're totally fake. The linguistic report is fake. I know there's channels out there that were using that shit for views. Nonsense. Total nonsense. Moscow slangs were committed by one person, I think. Oh, yeah. I mean, he was stalking them. He was there, at least 12 times there looking up. And remember, the last time he went out and up, I don't know if I put the video out or not, but I have a program where I drove the car up and show you on Google Maps where he went with the vehicle. You could look down and you could look down the hill from the road above and look right into the 3rd floor, which is creepy as shit. But yeah, he was very focused on the girls there, very focused, infatuated. Because of bloodlust. Yeah, but we know who the investigator is. We knew who the lead investigator was on the case. You had Liggett saying it the week before they even looked at Richard Allen. He said it at the sheriff's debate. He said, I'm working as hard as I can. I'm the only detective that's full time on this. So he was being defensive about it, but they were at the same time looking at Richard Allen. I find that very odd. I don't think it was just, we popped across this. I think something more came. But digital, we know who has been investigating, the girl's case. We know. That's why it doesn't really make sense. Oh, thanks, Shane. I appreciate it. I'm glad you believe the hype. I actually wasn't planning on doing RonLogan, but last night I'm like, nah, that's what I got to focus on tomorrow. Happens, but I'm like, we just got to go over the facts, man. You got to stick to the facts. Because what if in his defense team's eyes is that Richard Allen's case is shit by the prosecution? What if they truly feel that's what they're portraying? What if they really feel that? If they really feel that, is there a need to work with the DA's office and try and throw somebody under the bus, or somebody else that's involved if they feel that they have nothing on him? Do you want to for fact that KK's contact with Olivia is planning to meet? Well, he said it. He said it in the 192-page affidavit. We could go over that this week if you want to do that later in the week. I could do that Thursday. We could go through the 192-pager. If maybe I'll get somebody to if Adam's around, he'll come on and read one part with me, and I'll read the other, and we could go through that. But Keegan said it himself in the affidavit, 192-page. Yeah, check out Tech Death. When someone is arrested for horrendous crime, we expect a violent career criminal will be taken off the street. We expect the rest will be public service. Harder to see a neighbor that way. Yeah, Anna, true. But it's also, our first response to hear like, oh, your neighbor killed 4 people. It's like, holy shit, what? It's not the person I knew. That's the first response you get. That's just the way we are, That's why, military and law enforcement, they want to break the code, and that's why they break you down in the academy. They want to, separate the feelings so that you become numb to stuff like that. There's a retracted LE name and IP. Yeah, I think it's Liggett. I think it was Liggett's name that's redacted. I think that's who it is. Oh, yeah, absolutely could have been stalking him somehow. Could have had help, too, from a guy who I called a gremlin. It would be great if they just released the facts. Yeah, it would, but it's not how it works. Especially, now you got the families not even able to talk anymore with the gag order. So, it's minimal what's out there. But as I said, and I'll say it again, listen to Hammer and Nigel. I did a live stream on it right after. I think it was the day that Doug Carter was on Hammer and Nigel. I think he was on, I think by like 1:30 p.m. and I think by 12 o'clock the next day I had the video on it, and I went line by line through the interview, and he was very candid. He was with a friend of his. One of those guys is his friend. He didn't have his guard up. He talked. We're going to see what Keegan Klein knows about 1,020 days ago, talking about Delphi. The tentacles. Think about all that, man. It all tentacles about, far reaching and connectivity. Think about it. He's not just saying, that's his psychology, just, spitting out words, but those words have meaning. Can't take it back once it's recorded. It's out there. Well, you got to remember something. They haven't gotten all the documents from the prosecutor's office, so nothing is quick right now. At the end of the day, you don't want a speedy trial when they haven't gotten the documents. They wouldn't have enough time to plan for a speedy trial with the amount of documents that they've been told is out there, against Richard Allen. So that's the reason that it's June. And if you listen to the county meetings, the prosecutor's office is not ready. They don't have the documents to forward them all to the defense. So there's hiccups there. There's issues. There's definitely issues in the prosecutor's office getting the documents to the defense team so that they can defend their client. That's an issue. What if I told you these minors lied on sketch or supposed guy they saw? Well, facts only. I'll tell you this. Even if they didn't lie, what they did see is going to be destroyed by the defense team. And that's just what happens at trials. It's tough for people to realize that, but thankfully they're older now. They're not 13, 14-year-old kids. They're 19, 20, 21 years old now. They'll be able to handle themselves a little bit better. But at a trial, they're going to be called as witnesses, and they're going to get, they're going to get their laundry aired too. It's tough. No, Digital, I totally get what you're saying, but I truly feel it's Liggett. That's who I feel was redacted, and I think it was from what I saw was in that part and why would his name be redacted from that. That's what I took from it, just from my experience. But it could be somebody else. But I think it was Liggett. Oh, Jessica, I hope soon. I hope soon. Prosecutor's office has to get their shit together. They gotta get the documents over to a defense so the defense could defend their client. I mean, that's what it comes down to. What is your opinion on the ISP website claiming BG was questioned, no longer a person of interest, and we are led to believe his statement was misfiled and was found when looking back? See through it. 100% agree with you. There's so many things that are like a puzzle, and then the puzzle's solved, and all of a sudden the puzzle shatters again. You're back to the beginning. It just, what the hell is going on? What the hell's going on? But yeah, 100%. They did come out and say that that person's no longer, a person of interest. Well, they have to move him because of the judge's order and the state of him. If he's in a psychological decline, that's not a good thing. The defense cannot just say that. So remember that the defense can't lie to, get their client moved because he's not able to see his family. You got to have true psychological decline going on. And if that's really going on, that's a problem for, what's to come. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for his trial. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what Lorraine said, that maybe it's just her verbiage. I'm not sure. Would you be surprised Garrett Kurtz was really a killer of girls? Garrett Kurtz was on his way to being a serial killer. So would I have been surprised? No. Do I think Garrett Kurtz might know a little bit more? It could be possible. Facts, listen, you want to be anonymous and you want to tell me what you got? analysisofacrime@gmail.com. Send me whatever you want to talk about. When somebody sends me something, it's like I'm still on the job. It's between you and I. I'm not here to, spread shit. No, that's not why they moved him, David. That's not why they moved him. You have to show that there's something going on. And if there's truly a psychological decline with Richard Allen, that's a problem for his trial. That's gonna be a big issue. Big issue. And remember I said this, because you cannot just make up a story that your client is declining mentally. You have to show cause. You have to have something to show there. And it is not looking good right now. True, but I still feel there's more to get him on. I'm not going away from that guy yet, Bogey. I'm not. I feel there's more coming, and believe me, I have contact with somebody who's very close to that family, and just talking to some people from Peru who know them and everything else. A lot of people have had a lot to say to me that I just can't share. But I've seen pictures of parties that they were at. I've seen a lot of things. And believe me, I'm not here to just say, there's a reason I'm saying. I just have a strong feeling on it. If you got something, just send it to me, Fax. It'll stay between us. I'm not here to share what you got. But if you want to talk about something, let's do it. Am I behind? No, I guess I'm a few minutes behind still. It's hard to keep up with the comments. I think I covered it. I do think that there's a problem. There's definitely a problem there. That there has to be some kind of psychological decline happening for them to move him, and it could be true. It probably is true that something's going on there. Remember something, Richard Allen. He's innocent until proven guilty. He's been living his life for almost 6 years before the door got knocked down. You know, let's say he is the killer. He thought he was safe 6 years later. That's the way I'll put it. I was never interviewed at the beginning. Ellie said they did interview a killer at April Press. Possibly, they possibly interviewed the killer. Possibly. Remember? It was possible. But if you got something on Garrett Kurtz, send it over. You know, send it from make a new email on Gmail and send it to me. If you believe me, it stays between us. No, I believe it was Leggett. He was the primary investigator on this case. It's his case. I don't know why. It's a head scratcher. It doesn't make sense why they would redact his name. But to me, when I was reading that, it should have been Liggett's name there, and it wasn't. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah, dude, send it over. I'm telling you, it's just between us. I'm not here to share. Believe me, I'm too busy to try and figure out who you are. I'm busy. I got 3 kids. I'm very busy. I'm not here to do that. I'm very trustworthy. Believe me. I helped somebody get their daughter and grandchild out of a very bad situation last year. They were an abusive, the husband and father of the child were abusive, and I did everything possible, and we got them to safety. It was last Easter. We got them to safety. Anybody needs anything, you can always email me. Whatever we talk about is between us. I'm not here to spread your business. If you need help, you need help. I'm here. Andrew, there's no new information on that raid. No new information that I have. Oh, I know that, right early on, they were shaking down kids at the gas stations. I know all about that, if that's what you're talking about. There's other actors involved cover LE clearing old guy sketch because Alan on his best day is not younger. Well, Shane, remember what, as I said, listen to my live if you go back a few months ago, right after the arrest. And I covered the Nigel and Hammer interview with Doug Carter, and they asked him about the sketch being different. And his answer was, isn't that something? That it's two different, looking people. Isn't that something? Come on, man. Stop it. The French guy? Give me more digital. Who's the French guy? RA is faking it, and the lawyers are complaining about RA's left. Yeah, David, they could get in trouble for doing that. They can get in trouble for doing that. Believe me, they're not going to just pull a psychological stunt to get him moved. DA said they're suspect of why not arrest again? Well, why do you think they don't have enough yet? As a gang family. I don't know who we're talking about. What's up, Vince? How are you, man? No, don't worry about it. I don't think it's to garner sympathy. I think it was to put it out there so that it just puts a little extra pressure on the judge to do the right thing. You got to move him. If he's in a psychological decline, that's going to hurt the trial. Tom Webster is in my chat. What is up, Tom? How you been, man? I got to do a live with you one day. I like you. If everybody I know knows Tom, I was messing around with Tom for fun in Sonny's chat one night, and it was all in good fun. We had a good time. So if he's mentally unfit for trial, it's not like they can just let him free forever. I'm not sure what next steps will be. Well, listen, next steps are defense is going to get a psych team in there to evaluate him, and the state's going to have to do the same thing. Neither one is going to take their doctor at what they got, but the next step is psych evaluations, and it's an issue. It's not good. Defense team is not going to just say that. They're not going to put themselves, their reputation on the line. There could be some issues here. Now could Richard Allen be playing a crazy game of, messing, soiling in his pants and all this? Listen, it's a hard thing to keep up with if that was the case. I just think that, let's just say, he's innocent to proven guilty. He's the alleged killer. Let's say he is the killer. And he was free for almost 6 years before he was caught. It's a long time. You don't think you're going to get caught. And some people aren't meant for the prison system. Let's just say that. But I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. I think it's not a good thing. There's definitely more to come, but defense is going to have psychological evaluations. The state's going to be allowed to have psychological evaluations. And then, it's going to go from there. It's going to go from there. Yeah. Well, Holman, yeah. But Liggett from Carroll County also was the top dog. He said it. He said it at the sheriff debate. He said, "I am the full-time detective on this case." Before he made sheriff. But this was, I'm not kidding. It was 5 days before they started, working on the search warrant, and I think it was 9 days after the 9 days after the debate, they did a search warrant at Richard Allen's house. So it was very weird timing. Let's be honest, weird timing. But I'm not saying that has anything to do with it, but it was weird timing. Julia, maybe Thursday we'll do the transcript. I just need somebody else to read a second part. I can't read all. I could do the law enforcement parts, and if hopefully Adam Aspen is available, maybe he'll read the Keegan's responses, and we could do it that way, and then we can break it down. There's a lot of info in there, just like this with RonLogan search warrant. Anybody that just came in, you can listen to the beginning. I went through most of RonLogan's search warrant. Let me attach. So you could watch it later, because I know people are going to ask. You can watch episode 3 of my Red Talk Live. It's on the Delphi Docs subreddit, but it's also here. This is to watch later. I mean, listen, anything is possible, Vanessa. Anything's possible, but I just don't see it. I just don't see the defense team, going out on a limb if there wasn't some kind of decline happening, Oh, Tom is thorough. Tom, listen, I told Tom, this guy can build out some serious sheets. He's the man. We had a good time. It was all in good fun. We had a good laugh. Yeah, definitely check out Tom's channel. Yeah, they're great. Listen, ruckus. I mean, that's the whole thing. When you're facing a death penalty and you're getting attorneys given to you, you're gonna get some good attorneys, man. And these two guys are no joke. They're no joke. This is gonna be a battle for Delphi prosecutors, Carroll County's prosecutor's office. They need to get their shit together and get everything together and send it to the defense team so they can defend their client. I didn't like at the last Carroll County meeting, you had McClellan saying the word mistrial like 5 times, talking about just in general, saying like, oh, I hope, we don't want to make a mistake where we have a mistrial. It should never even be said in an open forum. It's just nonsense. It just, what it shows? It shows that like a piece of Swiss cheese, it wasn't just law enforcement that had their issues. The prosecutor's office has had their issues also. So it goes both ways. Goes both ways. GP, GK, oh, GP, I know I believe you're the aunt. I'm very sorry for your loss. Yeah, Garrett is not a good person. We know that. He was well on his way to being a serial killer. I'm very sorry. What's up, Peter? Hope all is well, Peter. Tattoo you popping in. What is up? Hey, Cold Truth, what is doing? How have you been? Cold Truth, we got to do another live one day because people still email me about our last one, that funny slippage. We're not going to mention it, but that was hysterical because it went past me. I didn't catch it. All is good. Kids had strep throat again last week. Same shit. Same shit. Mrs. Harriel Heidelbaugh, how are you? I hope all is well. His own statements is very damning. He could never walk to the bench without passing the girls based on witness account. Yeah, I get it. But the witness accounts are also going to be destroyed. Remember, there's a certain somebody in all black. And remember, I don't even think all the witnesses that wrote statements were put in the PCA. So what do the other witness statements say? Does anything contradict what these said? You know, it's all going to be picked apart. It's this is not a slam dunk in any way. And now you got possible psychological decline. There's issues. There is issues. Hey Shelby, are you using two different accounts? Because I could have sworn maybe it's different people. C2 Heidelbaus. Hope all is well. You're confusing me. Don't do that. Carter's comment: when I take my last breath, I want to remember me to my family. I want you to remember me to my family. Is that how he said it? I don't think that's how he said it. I don't think that's how he said it. Cold Truth is awesome. She is. She's a good person. She's a good heart. Big heart. There he is. What's up, John? What are you doing, man? Listen, we got to get together this week because people are asking to do a new Nikola case update and go through it. So when you're available. Of course, he's late. What time is it? I think he was at the gym working out with his trainer because he's got time like that. How many people do you believe are involved in this case? Bismo, like I've said for a year, 2 to 5 people, depending on roles. And that's what I'm going to stick with. I feel confident about that. How many new FBI head warrant for Ron? I'm not sure what that means. How many new? After March 17th, everybody knew. 2017, when they did the search warrant at his house. So I mean, towards him not being a psychopath, since they are said to adjust well to prison, wherever really. Well, I don't think that. I don't think a psychopath is just going to do well in prison either. It just depends. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've had some of the craziest people I've ever met not be able to spend the night in county, and then there's ones where you don't think you're going to handle it well. And then you see them 6 months later at a hearing and you're like, holy shit, what is that? Who is that person hanging out with? Because they're nothing like the person you arrested that night. You see a big change and for the worst, but that's just the way it goes. Yeah, there's some wild names. Some names confusing me, Shona. I don't know. I agree. His undeniable Allen has lost a lot of weight. Yeah, lost a lot of weight. He does. Listen, I mean, it doesn't look right. Doesn't look right. I just hope that there isn't a really psychological issue. That's all I could hope for. We all could hope for that because the girls deserve justice. I don't know why this man was sent that way and basically put in a lockdown situation. I don't know. Not really here to play Monday morning quarterback, but I just don't know why this was the way they went. But it's the way they went. Could be. Using a second day. Have you made friends with Robert Lindsay? No, have not. Robert Lindsay, I don't think likes me. That's okay. It's all good. No, why would he talk if there's a true psychological decline? I didn't they use? I'm not 100% positive, but didn't use some kind of catatonic, possibly. Something like that. I thought I might be confusing with others. I'm not sure. I've had a rough week. I've had kids up throwing up with strep throat. It was not fun. Digital, we always got a good chat going. Always got a good chat here. I do think it turned up something. The question is, did it have anything on it? I do feel that something electronic came out, but the question is, was anything gained from it? That's the big question. GK was on his way to being a serial killer, And remember, when Garrett killed the 2 people that he killed, there was somebody else with him. So did he, was he ready to branch off and kill on his own? That could be possible. Jumpin' Jack Flash. What is the good word? Not much, man. Tough week with the kids, but all's well today. You do need to. Yeah. Glover, thank you. Appreciate that. Love the name Tattoo You. We don't know that. That already stalked the girls old school. No digital footprint impossible. Well, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that there were two big bad wolves that day. One looking to meet and the other one hanging out looking at fish. Find it hard to believe. Thank you, CD, for being truthful and honest. I do know that you only put out facts, and I'm thoroughly appreciative of that. You're welcome. That's why I'm here. There's no reason. There's no reason for me to be here for any other reason. It just doesn't make sense. When did they take witnesses' statements? I don't believe it says the date, but I believe it was pretty close to after the girls were found. Anybody that was in the area was gonna, you would do it that day, the day they were missing, what you saw, and if you weren't after the girls, these kids are minors. Their parents might have called and they set up, the youth officer to meet with them, youth detective, whatnot. Oh, I'm clicking on the same thing. I guess I liked your comment so much I clicked on it a second time. Oh, okay. So you did have two. It's all good. I just got confused. I'm like, that's a tough last name to say, and I just saw it twice in about 5 lines. Cold truth facts. It is going to be a long few years. Yes, it is. Hide that teacher's account. No, I'm kidding. Hey, Alexa, what's up? Yeah, I don't know. You probably got to turn the bell off and back on, because I've gotten emails that even the last live that people were upset they didn't get it. I don't know. YouTube plays games. They're playing games with me. Phil Bond in the house. What's up, Phil? I'm not sold on array. Bullet evidence 50. Yeah, but the bullet, listen, if that unspent round had a great fingerprint on it, different story. But just ejected from a 40 caliber handgun, it's it's basically the defense's expert versus the prosecution's expert. That's what it comes down to. It is I feel it's 50-50 without a fingerprint on it. I've heard a few people say is not guilty. I fully believe in my heart is what your take. I fully believe in my heart is what is your take. Do you feel he's guilty? I believe you had a role to play that day. I'll put it that way. Oh, Shauna, awesome. I'm glad that the two ladies sent you here. Good people. We always have good people here in chat, and anybody that's not a good person, we get rid of quick. I'm all for debate, but when you get, thankfully we haven't had any while, but we get anybody that's out of line, they got to go. Because I just got no time for nonsense. There's Libby's video on Bridge. The girls wearing exactly. Yeah, I mean, listen, nobody could deny that Richard Allen was dressed like Bridge Guy, but that could be said for a lot of people in rural Indiana. That's the other issue. And remember, they Transistor. I think you just came in. Listen to the beginning. I go through the factual Ronald Logan search warrant from March 17th, 2017. And you'll hear a lot of info in there that the defense will use at trial for Richard Allen, because FBI, felt it was Ronald Logan. Possibly. We just don't know that for a fact. We know he's killed 2, but has had somebody with him, when he did it. AB, what's up? You missed a lot, but you got time to catch up. Replay it. Replay crew later. So I'm in Nashville waiting on him to come back to Tennessee. GK is Garrett Kurtz. Look up Open Secrets. She actually interviews him while he was in jail a few years back. Definitely worth a listen. He's an interesting character, Garrett Kurtz. Interesting character. I think he was 22 or 23 when he was put away for 80 years, 90 years. What did he get? 90 years. Well, kind of true, but at the same time, you had somebody electronically scheduling a meetup with Libby for the same day. 2 big bad wolves didn't end up in the woods in Carroll County at the Monon High Bridge. Is the evidence of the PC enough to? Well, remember, the way a probable cause affidavit is written is it's it's strongly in the favor of what you got. The problem I have with it is there isn't there's yes, yeah, they have the video of him driving there, blah blah blah. The witnesses stuff, I don't know. I don't know how well I take the witnesses, especially the witness that drove by him at 30 miles an hour and saw dirt and blood on him or whatnot. I don't know how to take that. I don't. I hope there's more. I'll put it that way, Peter. I hope there's more. The unspent round without a fingerprint, it's going to come down to prosecution expert and a defense expert. It's going to come down to who the jury would believe more. I don't think we know that for a fact. We know that they found a lot of fibers and hairs and possibly animal hair, but partial fingerprint, I don't know facts on that. I think RA has had a role, just to know if he was aware of it, catfished or words. Yeah, very possible. Very, very possible. Think about it. There were other people there. There were other kids there. One guy walking or 3 guys walking. What looks more suspicious? And I'm only saying 3 just to give an example, but think about it that way. I don't believe it's the same person, tattoo. I don't believe it's the same person. Think of Doug Carter's answer to that. Isn't that something? That there's 2 different looking people. Isn't that something? It was after Richard Allen's arrest at interviewed with Hammer and Nigel. That wished him on Delphi. Said he wouldn't say any more without money or the other. No, I get it, Mr. Dog. I'm just talking about you get to see his character. His character is shown through and through in the interviews. I'm not saying you have to believe everything he's saying. That's not what I'm saying. It's just you see what kind of character he is. Oh, definitely part of the octopus, if you want to say tentacles again. I don't know if Chris. Could Chris Mathis know more? Could some people in the underground, of Carroll County know more? It's very possible. Very possible. I'm hoping that you email me. Should I check now? I'm not going to say if you did now or not. I'm just saying in general. You didn't email me yet. Hoping you do. I'll put it again for you. Again, what you tell me stays between us. I'm just curious of what you're getting at. What time is it? It's 2:30. I got a couple more minutes. I got to do some things before my kids get off the bus. But Thursday we're going to do another live. Thursday maybe we're going to go through Keegan's affidavit again. I think we need to. With everything that's out there, I think we need to go to the facts. Where is LE when the druggies are making someone drug? David, listen, I was a narcotics cop. It's very hard. You build cases, you make arrests, but once you lock up somebody else has taken over that, that area, whatnot. It's very hard. You got drugs coming from everywhere. You got them coming through the border. You got people making stuff, in certain places, if they're making meth, if they're cooking meth or whatnot. When meth started coming to the East Coast, I want to say it was like maybe 05, 06. I took a course with the state on meth labs and stuff, and just how dangerous it is, but also how small of a area they could use to make meth, which is kind of scary. It's not cut and dry. It's just not. You could build an amazing case, lock up people. I had a case with 27 kilos of cocaine. The DEA was involved. I ID'd the two guys driving the vehicle whose fingerprints were on every kilo. And it's just the way it goes. This is, 18, 19 years ago, I guess it was. And great case. We went to serve a girl for court. She was living in a basement apartment. So the landlord took us in the apartment. He's like, I don't know if she's still here because all her furniture is out. Went in the apartment, and I'm looking around, and it was like pretty warm in there. But I looked around, and I'm like, man, why are the vents all covered? They were using like a heater on the floor, but then the vents were covered. They didn't want air blowing through when they didn't want it to. I said to the guy who was with me, I'm like, listen, I think they're cutting drugs in here. He's like, no, stop it. So I'm like, let's talk to the landlord. He goes, anything going on here? He goes, they rent my garage too. And there's all high-end cars, but they're like brand new. And it looks like they're taking them apart. I go, oh, really? Yeah, 27 kilos we got. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had some really good drug arrests back when I was doing narcotics full time. It's good stuff. Shane said I must uncover my vents, or just don't let a guy who knows who's a narcotics cop in your house, to service. It was a stupid warrant, It was just it wasn't a warrant. It was just a she had to appear as as a witness. I forget what it was. It was like a dispute. It wasn't anything big, but just from that and the landlord taking us in, saying that he wasn't sure if she still lived there. It was used that they were using the apartment to cut up drugs, and then load them up. They were loading them up. But yeah, great case. Worked out. It worked out. A couple more minutes, waiting on some more questions. Thursday, we'll do Keegan's affidavit. Anybody got anything else? Anything else? What do you think about Ives saying bodies were found so immediately, 20 hours, not immediately to me? Well, did he say immediately? I just think he was saying that it was successful that they recovered the bodies. I think that's just what he meant. Yeah. When you think about it, why did Robert Ives retire? Was it just where the case was going? Was it you had the local, you had state, you had Carroll County going in one direction, or maybe they were going in two separate directions. You had the FBI going towards RonLogan, and you had the prosecutor's office trying to manage what they felt was, pertinent, and where they, giving their 2 cents. Just a lot of stuff, I think that's what pushed them out. Ruckus, we'll catch up this week, bud, and we'll do a live together. We'll get it going. Yes, please, if you could buy me a coffee, I'd appreciate it. I run on Dunkin'. I appreciate it. And also, before we go, put a 1 in if you guys are interested in me making memberships and doing like a monthly, or even every 2 weeks. We'll start off monthly, see how it goes, and do like, give me a case and I'll look it up and we'll go through it. I think it'd be cool. Like maybe a night, like once a month on a night, we'll do like a little crime thing. It'd be cool. Alexa, nice. I don't understand how no one recognized our video. I agree, especially a guy who works, it's not like it was selective on the people who saw him. Anybody that went to CVS saw this man for years. It's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy. No, he said it's so immediately, talking about how he thought it would be solved. Oh, no, he was talking about that law enforcement. He basically said something like, if this was the 70s, or he was talking about like with what they had, they thought it would be solved quickly. And I think he's 100% wrong. And I think that comes into that he's, there wasn't many murders in Carroll County where 2 girls brutally murdered. I'm sure you had the domestic dispute murder that would happen, but I think it's totally, it's something he never saw, rarely saw. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think he didn't know how to take that crime scene. And I think he thought there was a lot there that wasn't. GP, listen, I know cops that I was friends with that lost their lives, so it's a very stressful job. You wear it, you bring it home. There's cases you file away, and there's cases I still think about today. I have one that comes to mind off the bat where somebody unalived themselves, and I felt it was a family member that was involved, and couldn't prove it. It's a case that bothers me. That was there something else I could have done? The way the son came running out of the house, I drew down on him instantly. It just, everything in me said something's not right here from the second I pulled up to the house. I was the first person there. His actions, his talking, his rambling, and this was 2004. This was before we had, mics on and everything else. I think that would have helped at the time. That's why I think body cams are good for law enforcement. I don't think they're a bad thing. I think they're a good thing, because you're going to catch something that, that was high tense. Gunshot went off, neighbors called, then this kid called that, my father, blah, blah, blah. I was first person there, and the next car wasn't, was miles away. It was just me and him. I drew down on him on the driveway. I didn't like the way the gun fell, near the body. Just, there was so many things, and, nothing came of it, but it definitely is something that bothers me. A lot of ones for doing a membership. That's cool. David, no problem. It's really not about the money. It's just doing something extra, any little bit that comes in is I'm not on every day. I mean, there's people that are on every day. I'm not on every day. I'm not doing this, for crazy financial gain or anything. But, anybody that wants to contribute to the channel and me getting some extra stuff is cool. I got to get some stuff, but I'm not in a rush. No problem if you don't like the memberships. That's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I just get asked. I think it's Miss Dog that asks me all the time when I'm doing it, and I just haven't just put it through yet. Hybrid, what is up? Kiddos are better. Last week was tough with strep throat and throwing up, and 3 a.m. throwing up and changing sheets and putting them in the shower. It was horrible. Oh, that's terrible. GP, you've had a tough few years. I wish I knew your first name. I'm so sorry. I really am. I'm so sorry. Did RA say he walked trails often? Maybe somebody knew that about him. I don't know. True. Very true, Miss Dog Lover. I mean, nobody's getting rich off of memberships unless you got a million subscribers, and that's not happening anytime soon. It's called a troll for asking about a commenter's education level on a different channel. Well, David, don't hang on that channel. That tells you a lot. True. I mean, listen, I have a membership in some channels, not all, just some, and it's to support friends too. Yeah, you gotta reevaluate memberships. I get it. Sorry about your daughter and niece. Think I've seen. Yeah, no, Alexa, she definitely. Sunny knows. I wish I remembered her name. I'm so bad with names, but yeah, she does. She does come into Sunny's. No, I know. Cold Truth knows you, and so does and Sunny knows you. I've seen you in the chat. I'm terrible with names, and I'm sorry for that. But I do know your story, and it's horrible. Horrible. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It gives you a nudge to get on your channel, go live. Well, I'm gonna get off. I only got about 25 minutes till my kids get off the bus, but I'll put the live up in a little bit for Thursday. Sloopy, what's up? No problem. You can catch the replay if you want to hear. I went through RonLogan search warrant again. I just felt it was relevant with everything that's being put out there to get back to the facts, But thanks, everybody. I will see you Thursday. And I'll leave the chat open for a little bit. I'll chat for a minute or two, and